Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about a protozoan disease. Yesterday we have discussed about common disease in human beings, bacterial disease, and viral disease. We have discussed. Today we are going to discuss about protozoan disease. The disease caused by a protozoan is called protozoan disease. In the world, about 15 genera protozoans lives as a parasite. Parasite means the organism attached and another host, so getting nutrition from the host, that is called parasite. The parasite is divided into two types: ectoparasite, another one is endoparasite. So ectoparasite means the organism attached to the outer surface of our body. This is ectoparasite. The organism enter into the body, so act and getting nutrition from the internal organs or inside the body, that is a endoparasite. So the parasites will cause the disease in the human beings. The first one is amoebiasis. So the amoebiasis, it's otherwise called amoebic dysentery or amoebic colitis, caused by entamoeba histolytica. So the amoebic dysentery or amoebiasis caused by entamoeba histolytica, so which lives in the human large intestine. So colitis means colon. So there are organisms living in the colon. This is called colitis. So entamoeba histolytica lives in human large intestine and gets the feeds from the food particles of human beings or bacteria. The infective stage of parasite is trophozoite. In this stage only it will be enter into the host and it causes the initiate the disease, which penetrate the human bodies. They have given some example for protozoan disease. The basic properties of protozoan: amoebiasis, primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, giardiasis, trichomoniasis and blandidiasis, toxoplasmosis, malaria, cryptosporadiasis and pneumocytosis. Protozoans enter into the wall of the host intestine, like colon, whether it is large intestine or small intestine, and secrete some histolytic enzymes. Histo means tissue. The enzymes destroy the tissue or lyses the tissue. Finally it causes ulceration. Ulceration means the inflammation in the tissue, and bleeding. Bleeding means the blood comes out from the tissue, and severe abdomen pain, and the blood mixed with the stool or mucus also mixed with stool. The symptoms of the protozoan disease, amoebiasis, can be ranged from diarrhea, dysentery with the blood and mucus in the stool. The blood and mucus mixed with stool is a severe condition for the symptoms of amoebiasis. The houseflies, the zoological name of housefly is Musca domestica, act as a carrier. This Musca domestica is a housefly that transmitted the disease from the affected person to healthy person, that is a transmitted vectors. These houseflies act as a vectors through the parasite from contaminated fecus and water. Next one, they have given the diagram of entamoeba histolytica, the outer plasma membrane and the food vacuoles, and it is centered flower-like structure, that is called endosomes, and two plasma plasms there. The plasma present in the outer portion, this is called ectoplasm. The plasma present in the inner portion, this is called endoplasm. In the central part of the nucleus is there. So next one is African sleeping sickness. This is also the important protozoan disease. It's caused by a trypanosoma species. Trypanosoma is generally transmitted by blood-sucking flies. That flies are sucking the blood from the host. This Trypanosoma gambiensis has three types. Trypanosoma causes sleeping sickness in the human beings. So the diagram. So it looks like spirochetes. The top flagellum is there. The end, flagellum is there. In central part, large nucleus is there, and small edges is called it's a pellicle. And food granules is also present in the organisms. This is a blood-sucking parasite. It's transmitted through the test place. They have given some example for protozoan disease. The diagram. First one is Giardia intestinalis. Second one is Trichomonas vaginalis. Third one is Trypanosoma cambiensis. The last one is Leishmania donovani. The Leishmania donovani has a different species, causes the Kala-Azar disease. The protozoan disease, the Trypanosoma, the first one is Trypanosoma gambiensis. It is transmitted by the Glozona palpalis. From this disease, the test plays act as a transmitter or vector. It causes the Gambian or Central Africa sleeping sickness. So next species is Trypanosoma rhodensis, transmitted by Clonoza mosciatans, causes Rhodesian or East African sleeping sickness. Third one is Trypanosomia gruzi, is transmitted by bug is called Triatoma magistra. It's otherwise called Chagas disease. Very important, one more question. Or American trypanosomiasis. The last one is Kala-Azar or Pryzal leishmaniasis. Pryzal means the lesions are produced from these microorganisms. It's caused by Leishmania donovani. The lesions occur in the visceral organ or internal organs. It's caused by Leishmania donovani. This disease transmitted through the Philippopotamus is a sandfly. It's very important, one more question. The infection may occur in the endothelial cells of bone marrow, liver, lymph glands. From this disease, the infection mostly affects the parts of bone marrow, liver, lymph gland and blood vessels of the spleen. The symptoms of the Kala-Azar is weight loss. Immediately body weight will be reduced, and anemia. Anemia means reduce the RBC level. So reduce the RBC level. Next one is fever and enlargement of spleen. It's otherwise called splenomegaly. Enlargement of spleen is otherwise called splenomegaly and liver. So next one is malaria. Malaria is caused by 4 different type of malarial species. The first one is Plasmodium vivax. Second one is Plasmodium ovale. Third one is Plasmodium falciparum. Last one is Plasmodium malaria. The Plasmodium mainly infects the RBC and human liver cells. Mature in the stage is called trophozoite. It is transmitted from one person to another person by the bite of female Anopheles mosquitoes. The Anopheles mosquitoes act as a vector in the disease. The next one is life cycle of Plasmodium. The Plasmodium is a digenic parasite. Digenic means it has 2 life cycles. One is sexual life cycle, another one is asexual life cycle. The sexual phase occur in female Anopheles mosquito. The asexual phase carries in human body. The secondary host and female Anopheles mosquitoes are the primary host. The secondary host is the human or man. The primary host is the female Anopheles mosquitoes. The life cycle of Plasmodium involves 3 phases. Life cycle of Plasmodium involves 3. The protozoans. The Plasmodium causes the malarial fever. The malaria, the female Anopheles mosquitoes act as a vector. The infected mosquitoes bite the human beings and release the some toxins or enter sporozoids. So sporozoid is a infective stage of malaria. Released from the liver cells, the merozoite penetrate the RBCs. The sporozoids enter into the liver cells and produce the merozoites in the RBC cells after penetration. The inside the RBC, the merozoite being developed by unicellular trophozoite. After enter into the merozoite, it will develop it's a unicellular trophozoites. That trophozoites grows in size and central vacuoles. So the trophosis consists of vacuoles in the center place. These vacuoles are pushing through the one corner. So looks like a ring that is called a stingnet ring. So a stingnet ring stage. After that, the trophozoite nucleus divides sexually, produce the zygont. So after enter the trophozoites, a nucleus divided into asexually to produce a zygont. The largest zygont shows a yellowish brown pigmented granules called Schnaffner's granules. So basically the asexual reproduction occur in the human liver cells. So sexual reproduction occur in female Anopheles mosquito. So the merozoite enter into the RBCs and produce the unicellular trophozoites. The trophozoites converted into the zygont. Zygont shows the yellow brown pigmented granules called Schnaffner's granules. The zygont divides and produces the mononucleate merozoites. The zygont nucleus divided into small pieces. Each pieces are act as a merozoites. Eventually, each merozoites infects the erythrocytes and lysis of RBCs called anemia. And in the RBCs contain hemoglobin pigment. The hemoglobins liberated by the merozoites. So there is this condition called hemozoin. At the time of the affected persons, body temperature will be raised at 106 Fahrenheit. That is a malarial fever. At the hemozoin, toxins in the bloodstream and infect the erythrocytes. The lysis of RBC cells called hemozoin stage. This is called erythrocytic cycle. The RBC is otherwise called erythrocytes. These erythrocytes lysis in the particular stage is called erythrocytic stage. This stage occur in 48 to 72 hours entering the trophozoite. So or longer depending on the species of plasmodium involved. A sudden release the merozoite triggers and attack the RBC. So suddenly enter into the merozoites and attacks the RBC and occasionally produce two type of gametes. Because it's asexually the merozoite nucleus is liberated, each piece acts as a gametes. It's divided into two type of gametes. Macrogamete, another one is microgamete. Macrogamete act as a female, microgametes act as a male. So the microgamete and macrogamete, both gametocytes are present in the human blood cells. Again, the female Anopheles mosquitoes suck the blood from the human being. It will reach a center into the midgut, and it will microgamete and macrogamete and fuse together, form a zygote that is called ookinete in the midgut. These ookinete, the wall silvers rupture and produce a oocyte. Produce the new site. After that, this oocyte produce the sporogeny from the sporozoite. These sporozoites again bite the human beings, will causes the malarial fever. This cycles repeatedly occurring in the malarial life cycles. So the asexual reproduction occur in the human body and is a primary host. The sexual reproduction occur in the female Anopheles mosquitoes because the female Anopheles mosquitoes act as a vector. So pathological changes of this malaria affect not only erythrocyte but also affect the spleen and visceral organs. The incubation period of malaria is about 12 days. So the trophozoites enter into the human body. It will cause the symptoms. The duration is 12 days. The early symptoms: malaria, headache, nausea, muscular pain. So next one is the life cycle of Plasmodium. So it consists two type of life cycle: sexual life cycle and asexual life cycle. Asexual life cycle occur in human body. The mosquitoes bite in the human body and enter into the trophozoites. And the trophozoites are mixed with the blood to reaches the liver cell. So liver cell affected by the sporozoid cells. These sporozoids and first affect the liver cell and mixed with the blood cells. And the blood cells, after entering the sporozoids, to converted into the merozoid. The sporozoid is a multinucleated cyst. This is converted into the uninucleated merozoid. These merozoids infect the RBC cells and form the RBC cells. The vacuoles push to the one corner, that is called stagnant ring, and produce the snuffers granules also. These RBC are affected by the merozoids and early trophozoites formed. So the RBC consists hemoglobin liberated through the merozoids to produce the hemozoin. So after that it would produce the two type of gametes, microgamete and macrogamete. These two type of gametes are present in the human blood. So after sucking the blood of female Anopheles mosquitoes, these gametes enter into the mosquito's body. In the gut, this gamete have a flagella, like it's a flagellate. After entering the mosquito's gut, the flagellas are removed, that is exflagellation. So here two gametes is there in the gut of mosquitoes. So microgamete and macrogamete. The macrogamete act as a male and macrogamete act as a female, and microgamete act as a male. Two gametes are fused together form a zygote, that is a zygote. After that replication will form. From the zygote, oocyte will form. Oocyte is more number of oocysts inside the cell, like a egg. So after liberating the oocyst, produce so many sporozoids. These sporozoids transfer from gut to salivary gland. After biting the human body, this mosquito releasing the sporozoid from the mosquito salivary gland to human body. This is a life cycle of malarial fever. This hemozoin means the affected human body consists of human blood. In the blood, RBC is there. In the RBC, hemoglobin is there. It's a pigmented cells. This hemoglobin is liberated through the mosquito toxins, that is the hemozoin toxin, and will causes at the time of hemozoin causes the fever, that is a 106 Fahrenheit degree, that is a malarial fever. So in that time produces so many symptoms like shivering, chills, high fever and sweatings. The fever and chills are caused by partially and malarial toxins, and it will reduce the macrophages to release the tumor necrosis factor, because macrophages act as a cell-mediated immunity. These cells affected by this Plasmodium. The types of Plasmodium. The malarial fever caused by 4 different species. The first one is it has 3 important 3-mark question. Types of malaria: tertian and benign tertian or vivax malaria is caused by Plasmodium vivax. The duration of erythrocyte cycle is 48 hours. So next one is Quadrant malaria is caused by Plasmodium malaria. Duration of erythrocyte cycle is 72 hours. The mild tertian malaria caused by Plasmodium ovale of 48 hours, and malignant tertian or quadrant malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum. The duration of erythrocyte cycle is 36 to 48 hours. So except Plasmodium falciparum, it will causes mild fever. The Plasmodium falciparum only causes the fatal malaria in the human body. So next one is prevention. So how do you prevent the malarial fever? We have to avoid to transmit the mosquitoes, to kill the mosquitoes, because the mosquitoes act as a vector. We have to kill the mosquitoes. If we kill the mosquito means it will not be easily affect human beings. So mosquitoes, the stagnant water and drainage we have to close. We have to add some chlorine powder and the waters, and some oil are applied on the surface of the waters, and some chemicals or some chlorine powders we can add on the surface of the water, drainage water, or unwatered storing the waters. For this we can prevent the biting of mosquitoes.